What's up, everyone? Welcome to Adherent Apologetics. As always, we are back after a few weeks delay. Carl's a little late, so you can blame him for why we're starting a few minutes behind schedule. But we're doing a Q&A. As always, he's done this a few times. You know what's up. Ask questions about apologetics, theology, the news, and not the news. I don't like talking about politics, sports, anything else. Zion Williamson's actually about to return, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, what's up, Carl?
Nothing much. I'm just in a ghetto hacking setup, so if there's a ton of background noise like cars and all that, just know it's entirely Zach's fault because I take no responsibility for any of my actions ever.
Well then, actually kind of a funny thing here. Before we even started the stream, Nick Quint says, "Why is Carl late? Is he spending another hour on his hair?" ?
Nick, if I had enough hair, because obviously I'm balding at 19, so if I had enough hair to spend an hour on, I'd consider that a blessing.
He is bald. I'm balding a little bit too. And Roxby, what's up, Roxby? Always in the house. She also said before we even started, also wear a hat. And what's going on here?
It ain't no thing.
I'm doing a debate soonish, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm exactly going to do with my opening statement. And maybe I got to include like an argument for miracles here with Nick Quint and Rox B putting this in live chat instead of trying to find some like actual like documented sources.
Does anyone know what he said? Does anyone have any idea what he said?
I think people believe in me. Nick Quinn says,
they believe in you. That doesn't mean they understand you.
That's true. He says, Carl put on a hat like it ain't no thing.
That is factual. All right.
Yeah. And he says balding too. Well, Nick's actually a dad, so Nick has an excuse to bald. We're just both young, and you're 20. I'm not 20 yet, so I'm so chill.
You have like... It's 17th. It's August 17th, I think.
No.
19th?
No. You're getting further away.
11th.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
There it is. Okay. I forgot. My dad's is the 17th. That's what I was like, okay, it's the 11th or the 17th or the 9th. I don't know why I thought it was the 19th. But yeah, my dad's is the 17th. So that's what I was mixed up with because,
Bro, I don't even know what to say to that.
I need to stop reading these comments ahead of time.
You really should, because I'm reading them too, but I'm not reacting. So I'm a little hurt, but we'll get to that in a minute.
It's funny.
Salem says, hey, have you enjoyed the book? You better have sent it to Carl by now. Yes, I have sent it to Carl. Have you read the book, Carl?
Bro, I have like a ton of books. Like I'm borrowing 2 books from the house I'm staying at, so I'm going to read through those first. But I fully intend to at least start it.
Sounds fun.
The people outside of my house absolutely love their motorcycles. It's not just a one-time thing. If you don't hear like 3 of them in this hour, I'd be incredibly surprised. But yeah, no, I'll get to the book probably before school starts. Yeah.
Like you've been taking that club test since like 2 years ago.
Shut up. Shut up. Just stop.
It's a joke.
I am working on it.
Carl has been saying he's going to take this club test for like literally 2 years now. So
I don't even know how to schedule them.
You just need to take English 101. JMD Apologetics. Shout out to JMD Apologetics. John Dunphy. He says, Dr. Philosophy on TikTok, I believe. He says, what's your favorite quote from Augustine?
I don't remember what I had for lunch.
Okay,
I think I can remember.
I've been reading Augustine's Confessions right now. It's decent. It's not my favorite read. I'm kind of struggling a little bit through it, but I mean, it's decent. My favorite quote, obviously, the classic one, our hearts are restless until we find you, is basically what he says. And it's like, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pop it, yo.
He's referring to the like mouth pop that I do.
Pop it.
Nothing. Yeah.
I can't bop.
Wait.
Nick Gwen says hashtag Calvinism is true. You.
Yeah.
I feel like literally we can't get into like 5 minutes of any stream without Calvinism, and that's why I'm like just trying to study it more. I just read a book on Calvinism over my break, and the dude just went at war with not at war. He was just very anti-Calvinist. It was an interesting read. God, Predestination. That's the book by Bob Warren. Book. Zach's internet looking like he's in a hostage video.
This is what I loved. I love this. Fire. It's funny.
I mean, this is what happens when I'm not in college. Like, I'm back home and we live in like a little boony place, so I have no internet. And Carl's gone, so it's just me now. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm closing the door. If you wouldn't have rushed me to get here and be always on time, it would have been closed by now. But y'all can thank Zach for that. I also don't water.
I can't wait to watch some Zion Williamson highlights tonight. Jose Martinez says, "What's up, Zach? How old are you guys?" I'm 20. I'm 19, Jose. I'm young. I'm not an old 20-year-old like Carl. Yeah, I'm 19. I feel like we can't do a Q&A after I turn 20 because I'm just gonna get made fun of for being 20. After all the stuff I've been giving you over the past few months.
I will not repay evil for evil.
Yes, you will.
Because I am a better person than you. I am a better person than you. So when we do this, I will not repay evil for evil. Just so you know.
Roxy says Carl is super old. Thank you, Roxy. Here's the non-boomer thing. It's back.
Just true. Just let it be known.
There's
when
the
you
boomer.
turn 20,
you become
I
a
will
boomer.
be a better person than you.
Oh my goodness. What a day. Life has been crazy. Nick Quint says Carl ought to be in a Fast and Furious movie, yo. He drives like he is in a Fast and Furious movie. I'll say that.
Zach's hermeneutics are Fast and Furious movies.
Anyways, Jose Martinez, what's up, Jose? I forgot to say what's up on your first question. How's it going, my friend, my brother in Christ, Jose? He says, what would your favorite Christian versus atheist debate be? I'd love to see. Okay, I'll give you a serious one, and I'll kind of give you like a mock one between celebrities. Serious one, I'd love to see Richard Dawkins and Ravi Zacharias if we get Ravi back. That'd be pretty cool. Just because I like Ravi, and he never debated. I didn't understand why he didn't, because that wasn't his focus, but it'd be cool to see him debate. And then mock debate, I'd love to see Tim Tebow take on Arian Foster. That's my debate. 2 football players. It's pretty fun.
Zach likes sports. I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm not a fan, but I like Bart Ehrman. I just like. I think he's a smart guy. So I'd like to see Bart Ehrman and I don't know. Really, WLC. I don't know. JW, James Warner Wallace. I don't know. We'll go.
I'm trying to get Bart Ehrman on here sometime. I think it might happen next year or so. Because I talked with him a little bit. His schedule was too packed, and I wasn't big enough really. But I mean, since the last time I talked to him, we've gotten a lot bigger. So maybe next year, 2021, Bart Ehrman comes to the show. Be fun. You know what I just realized? So I was hyped to watch some Zion highlights after this like Q&A, you know, and I just realized he left the bubble. So like, I can't even watch Zion highlights after this. So I have nothing to look forward to.
Maybe like the Rapture.
You know, you didn't have to do that to me. Nick Quinn says our hearts are restless until we find you. Dude, that's the Jonas Brothers. Dude, you're probably right.
Are you serious? Did you mistake Augustine for the Jonas Brothers? No, that wouldn't be a Jonas Brothers.
Augustine said it first. I literally, I literally read it in his Confessions. It's just it's Augustine. Our hearts are restless until they find rest in thee. That's what it was. I just was paraphrasing because I don't remember it. So
There's no way that's a that wouldn't be a Jonas Brothers lyric. It'd probably be like "My heart is restless until I find you." That'd be a Jonas Brothers lyric. But as one of the premier scholars on the Jonas Brothers, I know that you are all going to roast me. So I'll just get ahead. I'll get ahead of your jokes. As one of the premier scholars on the Jonas Brothers, you all can just heck right out of here.
As people from State College, we have to be experts on the Jonas Brothers because they're basically idols here.
They're idols.
It's like Saquon, Joe Paterno, Jonas Brothers, the Mount Rushmore of State College, and there's not a fourth person because Saquon is just such a unit that he takes up two people.
Saquon and Saquon's quads.
Salem says, "Are either you going to get a master's degree? If so, what's it going to be in, and where are you going to go for it?" It's a good question. Who's going first, me or you?
I'm probably going to get an MDiv. I don't know. I went to Liberty's really conservative undergrad, so I'd like to go to a more liberal seminary for my master's. I forgot the word. But I may also just go to I may full send it conservative and just do that. Who knows?
I'm planning on getting a master's degree as well. There's 100 different degrees I'm thinking about. I don't know if I'm going to go the more education route or the more seminary route or anything else in between. It just depends on what happens. Well, I've thought about it for a while. I guess you just don't know me. So
okay.
I don't know. I'm going to get a master's degree in something, and wherever it's going to be, I'm going to go to the best school I possibly can, unless it's super expensive because money. Sihifredo Sarabaya. What's up, Sihifredo Sarabaya? Hopefully I pronounced your name right, good sir or ma'am. He says, what about good things that are caused by Jesus and bad things are caused by the devil? Isn't Jesus supposed to be in control? That's an interesting question. I'll hit it first just because give you some time to think, Carl. So I'm kind of figuring out my theology, and my theology kind of impacts that question. I'll just give some of the basic answers. You go a more Molinist or a free will stance where they wouldn't say God causes anything. So God set everything into motion, and he knows what's going to happen through his foreknowledge, but he doesn't, in a sense, directly cause evil or necessarily good to happen. He just knows what's going to happen. So you could go that route. You could go the more Calvinistic route where God causes everything. And yes, in the last part, God is in control. God, in his foreknowledge, would be able to see everything that would happen. He would be able to know. And if he's powerful enough to create a universe, he's powerful enough to intervene in that universe. I think that makes perfect sense. What are you thinking, Carl?
I'm not sure which book it is, but it may be Hezekiah, but it states that God caused Israel to be taken away by Babylon. So I do firmly believe that God can cause good and bad, and God will cause good and bad because our personal happiness isn't his end-all be-all. Rather, it's his glory that is his end-all be-all. So do I think he causes bad without reason? Certainly not. Therefore, is it truly bad? That's a different question in itself. But I do believe that God can cause what we would interpret to be bad things to happen for his good.
Carl?
Yes.
You made a major oof in the beginning of your
Oh, did I?
Do you know what it was?
No.
The book of Hezekiah isn't in the Bible.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe Zephaniah.
It might be Zephaniah. That's a book of the Bible. They need to go to a real seminary like Fuller. Maybe. Be fun. Once you turn 20, your hair falls out. True story. Well, I'm 20 in Korean years already, so my hair's already falling out. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. You good? You look like you're in deep thought for a second.
I'm trying to figure out which book it was.
Oh. You read too much of the Bible. Nick says Isaiah.
Isaiah?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was one of the minor prophets.
If Nick wants to put it in the chat, book like the verse, that'd be pretty cool. Or anyone else. Jose Martinez says, question for you both very briefly. What is your personal testimony? All right, I'll tie myself and go and try to keep it under a minute. Raised in a Christian home, wasn't a Christian, didn't really care. Had some things happen in my life that made me question things, looked for answers, thought Christianity was the answer, gave my life to Christ. The end.
Okay, I'll go next. Raised in a not really religious home. Religion was always used as a what would Jesus do? Oh yeah, he would obey his parents. That's the whole thing. Got into some deep doo-doo, really prideful, arrogant. My whole like shtick, I guess, before being saved was that I was like a sociopath and a sociopath and then antisocial personality disorder, which are the two ingredients that you get when put together. You get a serial killer. So I like to say that God saved me from being a serial killer. I don't know, but whatever. That's kind of what God brought me out of. But yeah, and now I'm here after really experiencing his love and hearing the gospel, understanding that I am sinful.
Nick Quint says, what is the fate of the devil? Romans 16:20 seems to say that he will be crushed or destroyed. It's an interesting question. Let's pull up that verse. Zoom in here. Okay. I'll just start reading a little bit. He says, so your obedience is known to all, so I rejoice over you, but I want you to be wise as to what is good and innocent as to what is evil. The God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. The God of our Lord Jesus Christ will be with you. So I haven't looked at this, Nick, super in depth, obviously. It's the first time I'm really looking at the specific verse, thinking about this specific question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you could interpret it both ways. You could interpret it in an annihilationistic perspective, like Chris Date, who's awesome, does. I could see how you could interpret that way. I could also see how you could interpret it in a way where, eternal conscious torment, the devil will be kind of like in a lake of fire or something along those lines. Because you see passages such as John 3:16 where it says that it brings up the word like perish, and these extreme words are used in the New Testament to mean some sort of like figurative language almost for what's going to happen. So I don't know. It's really interesting. Something I need to look at more. And if you have books that dive into that, please let me know. I'm always looking to add to my Goodreads want to read list. That's kind of my thoughts. Carl?
I think you look at passages like Revelation 21, it's devil's thrown into the lake of fire at the end. Like, I think eternal conscious torment of the devil is the most biblical understanding of this. When it says crushed or destroyed immediately, my mind snaps to Genesis where it says under his heel, you're like the head of the snake will be crushed. So, and we know like right now, Satan's head is crushed. There is no hope for him. The end is written and Christ will come again and he will be destroyed. Whether that's eternal conscious torment or not is honestly doesn't really matter per se. But yeah, immediately when I read the comment, my mind also snapped to the passage, whoever falls on this rock shall be broken into pieces, but whoever the rock falls on, whoever the stone falls on will be crushed. So in that sense, Jesus, the wrath of God falling on Satan would crush him. And I don't know, that's just the pastor in me going like in a ton of different directions at once, but not actually like giving an answer to the question.
What's Nick's book? I forget Nick, can you say what the name of your book is? I forget, and I'm going to read it. I just haven't. So many books I need to read. Augustine said it first. Sure. Well, he did. I mean, the Jonas Brothers are like 2000s, 2010s, 2010s. Augustine's like 4th or 5th or 6th century. I forget the exact dates. So there's my Carl like weird lip thing. Yeah, he did. Rox B says, who are the Jonas Brothers? Yes, I am that old. Carl, as the Jonas Brothers historian here, You want to get some thoughts on who the Jonas fathers are? Jonas brothers.
I could not speak as to who the Jonas fathers are, as I am a Jonas Brothers expert. The Jonas Brothers are a quick Google search away from your full understanding, and that's all I'll say.
Well then, Carl has left me disappointed in his answer. I'm just kidding. They're a boy band. As Nick Quaid said, they're a boy band. They're very popular. In state colleges, they're treated so crazy. They're loved. Nick Quint says, Carl needs to talk to me about where he should go to seminary. That's my jam. I work with folks in my area about where they should go to seminary. Dude, I better get like recognition for creating this relationship, and that's totally narcissistic and prideful of me to say, and I know that because I'm saying it as a joke. But, dude. Bro.
Okay, buddy.
TikTokogetics. Dude, maybe we should just call it TikTokogetics from now. That might be like
disgusting.
Dude, what's been going on? I've seen like you've been so much. What are you doing TikTok wise right now? Tell us.
I like started a new channel, like a second channel-ish, where I deal with theology and stuff like that. And like that's my like, people ask me questions. That's where I'm responding to those questions, and that's called like I just called it Equipping Saints. Yeah, that's like the new thing that I kind of started. I'm just like I'm still trying to keep up the whole. Can y'all hear?
I hear something.
Someone's decided it's time to like cut down a freaking forest. But yeah, no. So my main account is still like I'm trying to keep it mostly Christian comedy, mostly that. But also it's a lot just me saying things I don't like about Christianity. That's what I basically turned it into, is me saying like, and me calling out people like, look, you're being a freaking idiot. Just stop. And yeah, not people specifically, but like ideas that people are using to make content.
One thing about Carl is he's not afraid to speak his mind.
That's very true.
Jose Martinez says, what would you guys say to Christians who argue that apologetics isn't necessary? You want to go first? We need to figure out, should I just always go first, or should you just always go first, or should we just feel it out? Like, I feel like this is awkward silence and we don't really know what's going on.
Okay, 1 Peter 3:15, always be prepared to give a defense or to give a reason for why you believe. And that word there, reason, is not, ooey gooey feelings. Rather, it's I'm pretty sure, I'd have to check up on this. I don't take my word as gospel, but I'm pretty sure it refers more to a legal case than an actual, I just feel like this way. But yeah, that's the whole actually giving a logical defense for the faith. And also Paul, that's what Paul, like, that's basically the entirety of Paul's ministry too. And Paul tells us to imitate him as he imitates Christ. So hard to argue.
I mean, so obviously it's not like necessary for salvation. But I mean, I think like anything else, apologetics is really important. Like in terms of Christianity, it's not necessary for salvation, but it's necessary to live an educated Christian life. It's important, like it is important to understand our theology or how we should understand sin, things like this. Apologetics is very important. But I mean, if you define necessary as what you need for salvation, then it wouldn't be necessary, but it is still very, very important. So it depends on what you mean by necessary. Nick Quinn says Isaiah 45:7. Was it Isaiah 45:7, Carl? That the verse you were thinking of?
I'll Google it.
I'm actually Googling it right now, so you can put it on stream for the people.
All right, a second. I'm gonna go fill my water up.
Okay, well then we're just gonna skip this question because apparently Carl has just left. He could hear me, but he's just gone. So it's just me in this lonely chair. Oh, it's kind of sad. T. Jordan says, what is the role of evidence in coming to faith? Is it unrelated? Should we emphasize faith over reason? It's a good question. I don't think it's like So Carl will give his take whenever he comes back, if he ever decides he wants to come
Literally
back.
right here.
I don't think it's like faith versus reason, obviously, but I mean, I think they're both important. I mean, without faith, it's impossible to please God. That's in Hebrews, I believe. So faith is important. We can't. I don't think you can prove Christianity is true. You have to have faith. But I mean, evidence can be very important in someone coming to faith. I mean, there's all kinds of atheists who see the evidence and like, okay, there's enough evidence for me to have faith. So I think they're related to one another. And should we emphasize faith over reason? Not necessarily, and I don't think we should emphasize reason over faith. I don't really see this faith versus reason. I see it as faith and reason. So I think they're both really important. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I'd agree. I completely agree with Zach. What I'd say is that it's not a should we emphasize. It's should I emphasize faith over reason or reason over faith, because your emphasis could be completely different from other people's emphasis. We had a class where one of the students was actually very high faith, low reason. The arguments against God did not faze her nearly as much as they would have fazed Zach or me, and we would have to research that to come to a conclusion. Rather, she was very high faith and just said, whatever, I have faith in God. So it's not an emphasis of faith over reason in terms of a community setting, but rather in terms of your own personal setting. So if you are very high reason, I'd say, yes, in your apologetics, in your defense of the faith, and in reminding yourself that God is real and God is true and there is no other option, essentially, then yes, you can definitely emphasize reason over faith in reminding yourself that God is true. If you are a very high faith person, then by all means emphasize faith, saying, look, this is what God has done for me in the past, and my faith will continue to serve that. Although reason does not override faith, and faith can override reason.
Salem says you should go to Houston Baptist University. That's likely where I'm going to go next year for my undergrad. Well, congrats, Salem, if that's where you go. Yeah, I've heard good things about that school. I know Mary Jo Sharp's there. She's really cool. She's hopefully going to be on this show late fallish. So yeah, it's a great school, Salem. Good for you, bro. Happy for you. Got thoughts about Houston Baptist University, Carl?
I sweat a lot, so there's no way I could really.
Dude, I was in the Southwest driving around with my family, and we were in Death Valley. So really hot. Hottest recorded temperature, I think, ever is there. And we're at the saltwater basin, the lowest point in North America. And it's like 129. We got wind. And like literally we're standing there, we're dying in the sun. And as the wind hits you, it feels like fire is literally hitting your skin. It was ridiculously hot. And that's just my thoughts on heat. But it was cool. Nick says crushing the Greek is used in Greek literature to denote a military defeat, which include that. That is interesting. I did not know that, Nick. Thank you for letting me know. As he tackles it in his book. Everyone should go buy Nick Quinn's book. I'm going to read it. It's going to be really good. As Salem says, it's called The Perfection of Our Faithful Wills. Yeah, I want to read Nick's book. Are you guys open to Catholicism? I feel like this is a question where Carl should go first. Just knowing, I know that Carl is born ready for a question like this.
This is the question I saw and went to go get water because I knew that I'd talk a decent bit more on this one. If you're sick of my voice already, just leave now. But no, Catholicism, it's definitely something that I'm open to, and it's something that I deeply respect as an ex-Catholic and as someone that has studied the church more than really anything else. No, certainly. It's definitely, I'm definitely open to it. If I could be intellectually convinced that the church is the one true church of Jesus Christ, there's no other options, that prayers to Mary and to the saints are not only biblical, but encouraged. If I could be convinced of the perfection of Mary, then, and as her as the mediatrix of the grace, purgatory is the main thing in terms of our perfection and our sanctification here in this life, or if it needs to happen in the afterlife. These are a whole bunch of topics that I'm still researching, still coming to my own conclusions on. Although I'm definitely leaning away from the Catholic Church, I'm certainly open to it. And I think that any Christian that says, yeah, they're just straight up not open to it, I'd be very hesitant discussing.
What if I say no? Do you leave?
No, I just say I'd be questioning your intellectual honesty.
Well, I mean, I'm a Christian, so obviously I'm an intellectual liar according to all the atheists, right? I'm just this crazy biased person, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm open to Catholicism. I kind of like Carl, except Carl's looked at this a lot more than I have. I haven't seen a reason to be intellectually convinced of, say, the authority of the Pope or the kind of idea of things like councils being authority alongside Scripture, wherever you want to put the councils or papal decrees, things like that. I just don't think it's biblical. Things like the Council of Trent, where it says that someone should be excommunicated if they say that we are justified by faith alone. I believe I'm quoting that right. I'd have to go back. I made a TikTok on this, so all good things come from TikTok. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to it, but at this point, I haven't seen reasons to believe that Catholicism is true in the sense of capital C, the Catholic Church. Obviously, the Catholic lowercase c universal church, that's kind of like part of Christianity. You go.
Oh, I was just going to get into the whole justified by faith alone, and I completely that's something I agree with the whole Catholic take that we can't be justified by faith alone, because James is a book in the Bible. It is an authoritative teaching, and it literally says, "For we hold that we are not justified by faith alone, but also by works." And that's a different topic.
What verse is that?
224. It's a completely different topic than our salvation, which is accomplished by faith, but our justification is different.
Okay. So, Nick Quint says, "I make that POP my ring." Okay, this is the old Zach. What is POP?
Pop.
I got it, dude. You should. I thought you started a Patreon. For your Patreon, your lower tier benefit should be get that as a ringtone for your first year.
That'd be funny.
Dude.
That'd be funny. I'll make you a custom ringtone. That would be an amazing. That's actually an amazing idea. I love that idea.
Nick Quinn said, "Oh wait, we're here." Oh yeah, I just saw what you said. David Ginnart. For those of you listening who do not know who this is our high school basketball coach. He says, "Should Carl be allowed to run the break?" Well, Nikola Jokic was running the break this afternoon, so maybe Carl should. You see, Nikola Jokic is running the point today in their scrimmage.
Okay, Nikola Jokic is a lot more close to Nate than I am to Jokic. That's for dang sure. But I do run the break actually a couple times during.
And I am. What's up, Coach? It's good to see you. Kind of.
Yeah.
Nick Quint says Carl plus Nick bromance equals gnarly. Gnarly, dude.
Gnarly.
Oh. Slam RN, Susan Lambu. What's up, Slam RN? How's it going? Jose Martinez says, "I find a lot of problems with Catholicism. It used to be one." So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Catholics a lot. It's kind of hard. But I mean, obviously I'm not Catholic. Salem says, "Help Me Believe" channel is interviewing Ian Mills on the synoptic problem at 8 p.m. tonight. After this live stream is over, everyone should tune in for sure. That'd be actually really interesting. But you know what's happening tomorrow, Carl?
Do I know what's happening right now, Zach?
No.
There you
Tomorrow at 8 p.m. we have Hayden Clark from Help Me Believe. He's going to be debating John Gleason, the godless engineer, on this channel on Did Paul Believe in a Historical Jesus? And Hayden's only going to use, I believe it's the 7 uncontested letters of Paul as being genuine letters of Paul. So that's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mary Jo Sharp is the best. Yes, she is. Mary Jo Sharp is amazing. Yeah. Nick Quinn says, so seminary in the South is a no-go for Carl. Lame.
See,
You're in Virginia. You're in Virginia for college, so like
Virginia is like hardly the South. Virginia is the middle. It's not like South, but I want to say, yeah, I'll go to the Southern seminary in the South because like all the good seminaries are in the South. But
you're not wrong.
I don't want to like turn into a raisin.
It can't get much worse than Virginia. Like 100 in the humidity, that's pretty bad.
Oh no, it gets a lot worse.
Nick Quinn says, I'm realizing how late my comments are. Come on, Nick.
Nick, your comments aren't late. It's Zach feeling the need to scroll through every single comment is what makes them come up as late.
What are you gonna do?
Scroll through every single comment.
Well, I want to, so
oh.
You can create. Anthony Vasquez says, where are you guys in the question of can you lose your salvation or can you walk away from the faith? Interesting question. You want to go first, Carl?
Sure, I'll go first. There's a passage in 1 John that says, if they leave us, they were never of us. And that tends to be my whole explanation of this. So, no, you cannot lose your salvation. Once you're saved, you're always saved. But the whole question is whether you are actually saved to begin with. So, yeah, if someone leaves, we may have thought they were saved, but they weren't.
Yeah, I would say you cannot lose your salvation. I was actually having this debate with someone very recently. Just an informal debate. And I think one passage I've been thinking about a lot about recently is if you read Romans 8:29, where it says, for those whom he foreknew, he also predestined. The author I was reading from argued that predestined means when we're adopted as sons of Jesus Christ, we get certain things like our sanctification. And it says that in those whom he predestined, he also called, and those whom he also called, and those whom he also justified, and whom he called, he also justified, and those whom he justified, he also glorified. So, I mean, if you look at a passage like that, I think that it's pretty clear that if you are an adopted son of God, you are predestined. And if you're predestined, all of these things follow, that you will be justified and called and glorified. And I know I got the order wrong. So yeah, I don't think you can lose your salvation. I don't think that's biblical. And there's a lot of other passages you can look at besides this to make that case. So yeah. We're going back to this comment from Coach. Yeah, Carl can run the break in IM basketball.
Haha. I get
that's why our IM teams are always trash.
Sure.
And I beat you in fancy basketball. I don't know how that relates, but I just want to say that. Seminaries, I recommend everyone.
On a technicality!
I still won. George Truett Theological Seminary, Norman Theological Seminary, Fuller Theological Seminary, Houston Theological Seminary. That's a lot of theological seminaries.
It's a list of theological seminaries, so of course there's a lot of theological seminaries. I like giving them crap.
Rox B says, I just got back from the VA beach area. Wearing a mask in that heat is miserable. Yeah. Oh. I had to wear a mask like all day yesterday, and it was pretty brutal. Just the heat and the mask, and it was not fun. But we should wear masks. I think it's good to, yeah. Heat. Goodbye, Coach Kinhart. It's good to see you. We're going to hopefully get lunch sometime before I head back to college. Salem says, what about doubt? Oh, he's just, why do I read? I need to read comments in advance. It's just, yeah. Carl went to Liberty, too similar. Is he talking about, Nick, are you talking about Liberty or are you talking about?
No, he's responding to Salem asking about Dallas Theological Seminary.
Maybe I should make you in charge of this.
You probably should, actually. That's where it pops up for me. It wouldn't pop up for you guys there. So the comment Nick's suggestions of theological seminaries weren't just in general; they were specifically for me. Probably, at least it seems, because I go to an extremely conservative school who is recommending seminaries that may work well with that and complement that.
Liberty's theology. I love Liberty's seminary professors. I've had a few of them, and they're all the seminary professors are really amazing people, really godly people. They are pretty, I mean, obviously this comes from Liberty, but they are pretty similar theologically. But I mean, in terms of people who are following God and trying to serve Him, Liberty's theological people that I've had are amazing. So yeah. And we're kind of caught up on questions, and apparently this is what's left. So, I mean, we can end it if there's no more questions. You probably will in a few minutes if no one else has anything else. But, I mean, what's up, Carl?
Yo, I don't know. I've been thinking about going to Duke recently. I don't know.
Yeah, you told me about this.
But, that's, really liberal. And I'm like, I know, I'm going to have to start my own church if I do go to Duke, because I'm not going to get ordained as a Methodist pastor, as a Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they call that. And you don't really go to Duke for anything else. So yeah, I'd definitely have to start my own church.
Yeah. I mean, I think when choosing a seminary, if you go to seminary, I think if it depends on what you want to do. If you're looking to, I mean, I'm not super in touch with what certain schools are looking for professors, but I mean, if you're looking to become a pastor, I don't think you should go to a super liberal seminary because you're training to become a pastor. But if you're trying to get a scholarship, going to a super liberal seminary for your MDiv could be actually kind of useful because, if Christianity is true, we shouldn't be afraid of going to a liberal seminary. But I mean, if you're looking for specific skills to be a pastor, then I think that it's probably not the best idea because that's not what they're going to train you to do. So yeah, Nick says you get a diverse view of evangelicalism at the 4 seminaries I suggested. Yeah, dude. Become a Free Methodist, Carl.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Do it. I dare you.
Oh, bet. Say less.
Or it's like say you won't do it, and then you do it. That's how it works.
Double dog dare you. Say what again?
Salem says you guys should consider Wheaton College. That's the other one I'm considering going to as well. I've heard really good things about Wheaton. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Wheaton. So we're caught up on questions.
We're going to be dropping merch soon once I actually finish the design and finalize that and all that.
Yeah, dude. We're going to drop some merch.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yep. Get a little bit of extra bag for college. Nice. Would be very nice. Yeah.
Salem says, which denomination are both of you? I'm still undecided, but right now I'm leaning towards Anabaptism. I go to a Christian Missionary Alliance church. I don't actually know what denomination. I think my church that I go to in Lynchburg is non-denominational. I personally don't align with any denomination at the moment. I just go with what the Bible says, which I guess every denomination would say they do. But yeah, I'm non-denominational. I'm not convinced. I haven't really studied what denomination do my beliefs line up with. I'm just non-denominational. That's where I'm on that stuff. What about you, Carl?
Yeah. I used to be non-denominational, and now I've just said, you know what, non-denominational isn't enough for me. We're going full on anti-denominational. Just I despise denominations to the very core of my being, and the very core of the Bible, and every sense they're terrible. So
I would say I am a part of the lowercase c Catholic Church, the Universal Church, all the saints who are in Jesus Christ. So, I mean, that doesn't really pass the test in terms of people trying to, and I know you're not trying to do this, Salem. I'm just saying there are people trying to pin down exactly what thought group do you line up with exactly. Yeah. T. Jordan says, who's your favorite apologist? You go first. I don't feel like going first. No, that doesn't count. That's a bad answer. No. I don't
Okay.
accept it. That's a worse answer. Also not accepted. That's a lame answer. Also not expected. Accepted.
In terms of straight up apologist, William Lane Craig. In terms of like person that does apologetics, Ravi, because I'll steal it. I'll just say what Zach's going to say. He answers the heart, not just the mind, and he cares. Like he answers the person, not the question. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite in terms of in general, obviously Ravi is for everything Carl said because he stole that all from me. Answering the question or not just a question. In terms of just a general apologist, not general, but in terms of like their scholarship, William Lane Craig's always really good. Also really like inspiring philosophy. Obviously not like a doctorate professor writing books, a guy on YouTube, but he's just his scholarship is like second to none from anyone I've seen on YouTube. Scholarship's amazing. So a lot of respect to him for that. Yeah, that's kind of my two. Yeah, dude. I'm just so we'll just if there's any more there's questions. Okay. But I'm just so sad that Zion Williamson isn't playing tonight. I was so excited to watch Zion, and then little do you know, he's outside the bubble, so he can't play. So sad boy hours.
Tis indeed. I need to go grocery shopping. I don't want to go. Okay. Question for the chat. I already had an enchilada and a whole bunch of chips and salsa for dinner. Do I make a full pizza knowing fully well that there's very little chance that I'll finish it? Or do I leave it for tomorrow and just suffer tonight?
We're really tackling the deep questions here. Nate2D2 is in the house. What's up, Nate? Welcome. I missed you, Nate. It's good to see you. Worst apologist, throw some shade.
Okay.
Actually, put it the right way.
Yikes. Ow. Lame answer. Not accurate. Personally, this is like a legitimate answer is like I'm a huge fan of David Wood. I'm a huge fan of him. I think his content's amazing. A lot of hard work that goes into it. But I think he's a little bit too he's a provocateur, if you're familiar with that term. He goes about apologetics to at least in sometimes it seems to get a reaction. It seems for the purpose of getting a reaction. Sometimes it's more satirical than anything else, which I don't see as biblical. I understand, yeah, Jesus was petty, but we're not called to be petty. We're called to correct others with gentleness. So in terms of just off the top of my head, least favorite apologist, but don't get me wrong, I respect the man a ton. His story is amazing, and I love the guy so much. I am a huge fan of his, but in terms of straight up apologetics, I don't think David Wood is a very good apologist.
I'm not going to remember, not all my views reflect Carl's views. That's why we have two different opinions. I'm not going to put any names in there. I disagree with Carl. Obviously not going to debate it. But I don't really have I'm not going to say names just because I don't think that's obviously what I'm going to do. But the apologists that I don't like are the people who come off as arrogant, people who come off like they have all the answers, and everyone who disagrees with them, especially there are some who will conduct that, even Christians who disagree with them on certain questions are just wrong and biased or dumb or ignorant or something along those lines. Those are the apologists that I don't care too much for. But I mean, it's hard because we don't know people's hearts and stuff. And
I will say that I completely agree with Zach in that, but I don't think David Wood is one of those apologists.
Yeah, David, I listened a really good interview that you'd probably like, Carl. I don't think it's David is Capturing Christianity interview, David Wood, and I listened to it, and it just kind of talking about why does David do what he does, and I think there's a rationale behind just trying to bash Islam. It's really interesting to listen to. You don't have to agree with it, but it's interesting to hear his thoughts on why he does what he does. So
then I will fully rescind my statement about David Wood until I listen to that. So I'm sorry that I said that, and my new opinion is what Zach said.
Salem says I have to go. Peace out, Salem. welcome. I am looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. It's going to be an epic debate. John and Hayden are really cool dudes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Nick says, my salsa.
Yes, your salsa.
And they were saying, Nick.
Except, no, actually, not your salsa. Your salsa, but instead of the what pepper was it? I don't know what pepper you suggested, but I chopped up some jalapenos, threw them in there. And not only does it add a little bit of extra color with the green, which very nice, but it's good. It's really good.
Nick Quint says, make the pizza and eat it cold in the morning. Roxby says, make the pizza. Slam RN says, make the pizza. So, I mean, the people are speaking. So, what are you going to do?
I'm going to make the pizza. I'm definitely going to go make the pizza.
The people have spoken. Roxby says, I love David Wood. He's one of my favorite apologists. Yeah, David's definitely one of the most entertaining people in the Christian apologetics circuit.
Yes.
I have a lot of respect for the guy. I need that guy on the show sometime. I'd love to talk with him. But he never responds to my emails because he has like 500,000 subscribers and I have like 1,500. So, well. Slim RN says, right, Muslims think if you are not loud and vociferous, my pronunciation about your position, that you do not believe your position. Yeah, this is one of the really interesting things he brings up, Carl. Yeah, so you talk, I don't know if this is true for all Muslims, but he talks about how he was with Nabil Qureshi watching a debate between William Lane Craig and a Muslim, and William Lane Craig was William Lane Craigging him, just slamming this boy in the debate, taking him down. But he's very calm, and the Muslim was very passionate and loud. And at the end of the debate, David asked Nabil who won, and Nabil says the Muslim because it seems like he believed in his position because of his passion and his loudness and things like that. So it's interesting. I don't know if that's true for all Muslims, but I mean, I heard that and I'm like, okay, I understand what David's doing a little bit more. So it's really interesting. So,
well, in the case of intellect, in the spirit of intellectual honesty, yeah, no, David Wood's like, that was the one thing I didn't like about David Wood, but understanding there's like a reason behind it and like it's a well thought out reason with a defense. Yeah, for sure. He's like genuinely one of my favorites because that's the only thing that I didn't like about him, but he's a top tier now. Yeah. Funny things can switch with new information.
Savin Santosh says, if the angels were created perfect, how did they sin? Interesting question in angelology here. I believe that's how you pronounce the study of angels. So I haven't studied this question too much, and I want to be careful here. So I'm not going to really. I need to research the question more, but I would say a couple thoughts. Angels are different from us. One day we're going to rule over the angels. In a sense, we're superior to the angels in a sense. I don't know if angels were created perfect because then you have like Satan who falls. He's a fallen angel. So I don't know if that's true necessarily. So that's a couple of thoughts I have, but I don't want to give a specific answer because I haven't really studied this question at all. It's an interesting question, Savin. What's up? Welcome, Savin.
I'd say we were created perfect and we sin. So I think that the thing that separates us from angels is that there is forgiveness for us. There is no forgiveness for angels. When they sin, that's it. Yeah. So just because like, honestly, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything past what I know. So
Nick Quint says, can Carl be perfected through his life through the power of the Holy Spirit? Read the book for the real answer, but I'm curious about y'all's. Y'all, you're from California, dude. Don't say y'all. Thoughts on entire sanctification? I have an issue with people saying y'all. I don't know why. But this is an interesting question. I haven't looked into it too much, Nick. I'm going to read your book. You also need to make some podcast episodes, Nick. I subscribe, but I haven't been seeing anything on your podcast feed, dude. I'm ready. Throwing some shade here. Shout out to the Synergist podcast.
facts.
I just read a book that argued that in a sense we're sanctified now and we're just waiting for our bodies and our flesh is sinful now. But I mean, honestly, I haven't looked into this question super really that in depth at all. So I'm don't have an answer for you at the moment. It does say in 2 Corinthians that we are creation, that we are new in Christ Jesus. So that's definitely an interesting thing to think about. But I mean, I don't really have a concrete answer for you, my dude.
My favorite passage talking about this, and like this is probably one of my most quoted verses, is Hebrews 10:10, which is the past perfect participle of our sanctified, meaning that we have already been sanctified in Christ. So it says, like, for those that are in Christ. I can't. I'm not going to be able to quote it word for word, but essentially it says that we have already been sanctified by Christ's sacrifice. So once again, that verse, like, I tend to, and I'm actually like, I have John Wesley's the complete works of John Wesley up on my nightstand, and I'm interning at a Wesleyan church, or at a Methodist church, and I'm living in a Wesleyan house, so I'm borrowing this from them. And the one passage that he recommended for me was John Wesley's what is it called? Sermon. That's what it's called. John Wesley's sermon on sanctification. It's page 357. Yep, it's page 357. And yeah, I wished I would have read it last night instead of this other book, but oh well. So I could actually give you.
Nick said Serrano pepper jalapenos are great. Nick is in timeout right now, actually, because Nick did this, and that is like, no, thank you, no mas.
Okay, can someone mute Zach so he stops speaking Spanish, please?
I have the power.
Zach, you're not Spanish. If you're going to mute people for speaking South when they're not South, you're going to have to mute yourself for speaking Spanish when you're not Spanish.
Yeah, I should mute you. That's my thoughts on that. I want to untime out. I put Nick in timeout, but I thought I'd be able to like untime out him. But Nick's just going to be silent for the next 5 minutes, and that's kind of awkward. I'm sorry, Nick.
Oh my gosh,
Nick will probably never come to a stream again.
Zach, why you abuse your power so much?
Nate TDT says David Wood will also say when interacting with Muslims on one-on-one doesn't necessarily do it in the same way as he does in videos. Yeah, that's another point that he made that's really good. Just forgot about it. Thank you for bringing it up, Nate. As he talked about how obviously in one-on-one you're not just going to like mock or make fun of Islam. It's going to be a lot different than his videos. So Carl has been debunked today.
That is true, and I've changed my opinion because I was debunked.
I thought you were a Christian, though, so you can't be intellectually honest. You're just intellectually blind and you just want to believe and hang on to your afterlife.
Muted.
Roxby says, wow, Zach is strict with his mods. Runs away before I get in trouble. Don't worry, Roxby. As long as you don't say y'all, we're all good here. I'm just kidding. I will never put someone in timeout again for saying y'all because I did not realize that you can't untime out a timeout. So Nick's just gone for 5 minutes, and I feel so bad. Savin Santosh says, do you guys watch cricket?
No, don't watch cricket, but two of my friends were actually played on the Australian youth cricket team, which is really freaking cool.
I watch crickets like the bug, but no, Savin, I don't watch cricket. I'm guessing you're from India. Welcome, joining us all the way from India, Savin. I do not watch cricket. I don't watch baseball either. I just my sports I watch are football, basketball, soccer, and whenever the Penguins are in the playoffs. That's kind of what I like.
Tennis.
I do watch tennis sometimes, but not recently because there's no tennis.
MMA.
Thanks, Nate. I do watch MMA. Nate put that video. Thank you, Nate. Roxby says I'm gonna tolerate people saying y'all now, but I just can't put it up on the screen. It kind of hurts.
That thing hurted me.
I should have just hid Nick. I feel so bad. Nick's gone for forever.
You are a terrible person.
I am. I'm the worst of the worst.
Chief sinners.
I'm kind of saying we're close to ending the stream here. feel bad because Nick's just gone. Nate, I see you saying that. You are not gonna. I'm not putting that up on the screen. That's just not gonna happen. Oh no, you're after you, Carl.
Nate2D2 says, I say y'all too.
He's muted. This just. It's
No,
not. Oh no!
Body, you're gonna remove me from the stream now, aren't you?
My power has been broken. I do hold the power to remove you from the stream, so I will take that. All right, guys, we got probably no more questions. If you have one more question or so, we can bring it in. But I mean, Carl, I'm tired. It's been a long day. You want to do all the plugging?
So, well, welcome to the plug section of the stream featuring my computer's CPU and cooler just absolutely tweaking out because it's hot as all heck right now. Nevertheless, go follow Adherent Apologetics on Instagram, Twitter. Twitter is Apologetics, and TikTok. Follow them on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Actually, become a Patreon for a couple rewards, but I respect it nonetheless. Follow me on TikTok. It's just This Isn't My Fault, one word the whole way through. Carl_has_not on Instagram, or This Isn't My Fault the whole way through on YouTube. Actually, just started a YouTube channel. So I have one thing on there. It's really crappy, but I'll be putting some more stuff up there soon. Yeah. You can also become a Patreon of the both of us. Mine is just This Isn't My Fault on Patreon if you want to, financially support me. And yeah, love you.
All right, everyone. It's been fun. What's up, Ramon the Large? Welcome for joining us. Unfortunately, you caught us at the end. What's up, Roxby? Even though you say y'all, and Nate2D2, even though you also say y'all. I don't know if I can forgive you guys, but I mean, Jesus calls us to forgive, right? There
are unforgivable sins.
Apparently Carl said but according to Nate2D2. Oh, Nate's a cool dude. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll do a Q&A in probably another few weeks or so.
Wait, hold up, Ramon. Real quick, just to answer that question, I saw it. It's important. So we'll close out after this real quick. Sorry to just hijack your stream, Zach. But the extra biblical source is actually the foundation of the church, because if such a claim was false, it would have been easily falsifiable. And the fact that the church grew so profoundly within those first couple of years is very strong evidence that such a resurrection did happen, because such growth would only be possible with people willing to die for that belief that he did rise from the dead, and with a large amount of people, maybe about 400 to 550, somewhere within that range of people willing to die for their beliefs. That foundation of the church and the existence of the church and the growth of the church is the extra biblical source in that case.
It's been fun, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time. This is Adherent Apologetics. I'm with Carl. Go follow Carl. God bless everyone.